Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one. Cheers, guys.
But please realize you'll probably be surprised.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of Supernatural on the CW, which was episode 21 of season 13, Beat the Devil. So yeah, getting back on top of my Supernatural videos, I apologize for kind of the slacking as of late on getting those videos out. Just did a video the other day, catching up on the last two episodes that I didn't do videos on. But I had to get back to it. I had to get back on it because Supernatural, it's easily one of my all-time favorite shows, within my top two actually. I debate all the time between that and Being Human and stuff like that. We could talk about that all night though. But yeah, this episode, Beat the Devil. I really love that. I really love the episode, man. I think it's probably the best they've done in the season. I mean, I have to go back and kind of look at some of the others, but I think it is. I think it's my personal favorite, at least. We'll see what the final two episodes bring. But I just really, really liked a lot about this episode and the way it was done. I really, really appreciated a lot about it. And at some point this summer, I'm going to be doing my top 20 all-time Supernatural episodes, which is kind of a big undertaking, with how long the show has been going. I'm going to be going through each season and then writing down 5 to 10 episodes from each of them, then kind of comparing them that way. I guess that's going to be difficult as hell. But when I get to season 13, this is probably going to be the standout, I think. Just with how good sort of the vampire tunnel sequence was and everything that happened there, I gotta say I really just dug it. I think it's I'm a big vampire fan. Almost any vampire thing I'm willing to get into, almost. And some of my favorite Supernatural episodes have to do with vampire related stuff. From the first stuff with John to when Dean was a vampire for an episode in season 6, and of course the story with Benny in season 8, which I still like. And this, I think, is actually now my favorite vampire type of episode. I suppose I should probably talk about the lead into the sequence or the scenes, though. And of course it has Sam, Dean, Gabriel, Rowena, and of course Castiel all going into the alternate universe, to get Mary and Jack, and it definitely feels like a finale setup at this point, finale just in general. With them undertaking that mission. It's nice to have Gabriel with them, although both Gabriel and Cass seem to be a little bit low on juice and everything. But yeah, so they're traveling through there as they had gotten Lucifer earlier, and they're basically, they have him trapped with a binding spell, and they're bleeding him like a stuck pig, to keep the door open, not the door, but the rift, I should say. Rowena's keeping a watch over him, so you get some pretty good interactions with Lucifer and the others. Like Lucifer said, pretty much all the people he loves to torture in one room. I did like how they got Lucifer, though. They basically did a magical kind of dark roofie with him. So it was pretty funny when he seen that Gabriel was alive and everything. Is a good tie back. And Rowena, of course, too. Rowena's growing on me a little more than she has. She's still not one of my favorites, but I think, as I said in some of my other recent Supernatural videos, I think she's become more of a genuine character this season. And I think that, of course, has a lot to do with what happened to Crowley, so I suppose it's kind of a natural development. But yeah, eventually, she ends up, talking about Jack, his son, and how basically Dean, Sam, and Castiel are all more like fathers than he'll ever be to him. And that pisses him off, so, he actually breaks free, of course, which we knew was going to happen at some point. And she's able to zap him backward, but he ends up falling into the rift as well. So now the rift could be closing sooner than they planned, and yeah. And Rowena, she's trying to do more good now too, I think, partially, of course, because of Crowley, and also probably helps knowing that in the end he decided to give himself to both take down Lucifer a peg or two, but also to save Sam and Dean. But yeah, so we have Lucifer now in the trailing behind him in the alternate reality, which is actually going to come into handy, surprisingly enough, a little bit later. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But yeah, I really like the look of the vampires in this episode. They seem to be even more like savage than they are on on their Earth. It's because they're feral, they're more starved and everything. And I really like the. I've always been kind of mixed on like all the teeth. I'm sort of more like a more classic vampire type thing, I guess. But I think it really works when they're all feral and just a lot more animalistic and stuff like that. Like all these were in this episode. They look really good makeup wise, I think, and just like all sort of like the slobber and stuff. I think it's really cool. We get some pretty good kills in this episode. Sam's initial decapitation in the woods. Again, the look of this alternate reality, it kind of just reminds me of like Purgatory, just with different lighting. But still pretty cool. I like sort of like open, wilderness scenarios like this. And of course they hear a cry for help. Gabriel tells them, not our world, not our problem. But of course, the Winchesters, they have to help whoever they can when they can. And so they end up saving a younger woman and a guy. And, I see the only way, through is taking a detour, which will take them even longer to get to the camp, or, taking a cut through this tunnel, which is, apparently infested with vampires. And that's where the episode really, really impressed me. And, like I said, anyway, like I was gonna say, it just had like a really good atmosphere to it. It felt really tense. My body was tense throughout, and they actually built suspense. There's some actually decent sort of jump scares in this one too, and it really took the horror seriously, and I really appreciated that. And another thing that's going to come up with this episode, with what happened to Sam, is that, why should, do their deaths actually affect us anymore, because we know they're just going to come back. Castiel even comes back every time. We know they're not going to permanently kill off Sam or Dean unless maybe it's the end of the show. So that is an argument that has taken away from it at certain points in the past. But nonetheless, to see what happened to Sam happen, it's still got to be very unpleasant, at the very least, for any fan of the show. And that's the thing, that's kind of the reality of their world. Dean's even said, they're probably gonna die bloody at some point, or they're gonna die with bullets or teeth or whatever it is. It could only take 1 second. They're the best hunters in the world, but it just sort of like takes one little mix-up or one little just sort of moment, and one of them could be dead potentially. That's just an honest look at how dangerous the kind of work they do is, and that's kind of what I took from this episode. So whether they're brought back or not, I think it's still honest to, like I said, the kind of work they do. So in the vampires, they're just going at them left and right. Dean fights a few of them off, so does Sam. But Dean ends up sort of being pulled and grabbed and stuff, and Sam is too, except Sam is actually brought down, and he pretty much has it was a little bit more violent than I expected too. And although I knew Sam was going to come back, to see him, like held down and then almost his like throat or at least his neck getting a bite taken out of, it still made my body sort of just. I still kind of felt it seeing that happen to him. And it still made for a very big moment, I think. And again, I think I just sort of like the honesty to what they're doing. And Castiel tries to go after the body as well, and of course Dean's desperate to do whatever he can, but Castiel stops Dean from trying to pursue the vamps, and says he's gone. They got to keep going. And that was all a really well done sequence, and they find, of course, that Jack and Mary have actually have more of a hold up than they thought they would. They've actually been leading the group and everything. Apparently, alternate universe Bobby isn't there yet, but I'm guessing probably by the finale he will be. It should be interesting seeing the boys interact with them. And of course Dean and Mary hug, and she asks where Sam is, and Dean sheds a single man tear, right? But it's still a sad moment. I felt it, and despite all the times this kind of thing has happened, or at least one of them has died in some way, Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, they still sell the hell out of it. Their acting's always on point, especially Jensen Ackles. Oh, he's my favorite. But he really just continues to knock it out of the park acting wise, I think. And we see, of course, that Lucifer had arrived trailing behind him, and he resurrects Sam because he wants to get close to his son. And I thought Sam would be like a gift, to show him like, oh, I'm not so bad, your old man's not so bad. So I like the conversation between Sam and Lucifer there. Lucifer having like a barrier up to hold off the vamps and giving Sam a choice. It kind of felt like the old kind of issues between the two, from the earlier seasons. So it's kind of like a nice full circle thing in a weird way. But yeah, of course, then Sam wanders in, Lucifer's behind him, and that's kind of where the episode ends. So yeah, at least Sam was brought back in a different way too, resurrected by Lucifer. Who would have thought? So it's not like they kind of dragged out Sam coming back really, and but at the same time they do they really expect us to think they're permanently dead? I don't think they do. But again, I think they still got to have things like this happen to at least one of them, to sort of just again remind us of what they're doing and what world they're in. But I dug this episode. I loved it. I'm honestly giving it a 9.5 out of 10, but I'm kind of debating on giving it a 9.7. I just liked it that much. Probably my favorite of the season, honestly, and I could see it being within my kind of top 20 episodes of the series. I just really like how the whole vampire tunnel thing was done. Really intense, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. So follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, Instagram as well, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.